Okay. What's the mortgage balance?
359. Okay.
Okay. What's the monthly payment?
3,100.
Damn.
Yeah.
What's the interest rate?
5.5.
Well, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Did you say 359 for the mortgage or 539?
359.
Okay. Now how much you have how much you going to them?
I put nothing for right now. I mean,
All right.
they begging me to take it off their hands right now. So
Okay. What's the rent?
Section 8 said 3,400.
Okay. Yeah, this is not getting any money.
Yeah.
Your entry fee is phenomenal.
Yeah.
What condition is the house in?
Perfect conditions.
No shit.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and they're willing to pay.
He said they were willing to pay 240 on the mortgage.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm like, it's got to be some type of way we can make this work, man. It got to be. Because even if a buyer bought it for like taxes, right? I mean, that would work.
What's the LTR?
I can pull it up. I think it was right about the same at like
34.
Yeah.
Realtor commission?
I could put, man, it's at least nothing. I mean, 1,000.
You got room. You got. I mean, I
So
don't think you're getting anything.
long term, 2,600.
Oh yeah, that's way too low.
Yeah. Section 8, yeah, said 34.
And
34.
it's in perfect condition.
Yeah.
If they're willing to pay down half the balance, see, here's my concern. Here's my concern. 99% of me is saying, yeah, this thing will move. If what you're telling me is accurate, then 99% of me says this thing will move. Here's the 1%, which is the most important part. What happens if we don't move it and they put $240,000 down on that mortgage?
Right.
So I would say tell them like they know you're wholesaling it. I'm assuming.
No, I was going to double close. I mean, I'm double closing on majority of these. So
yeah, that's true. That is how you're doing that. Fuck, that puts you in a bad spot because if you told them that you were wholesaling it, then you could say, look, I'm going to move this to one of my buyers. Don't pay anything yet because if I can't move it to one of my buyers, I don't want you guys to be out $240,000. But because you didn't posture it as a wholesale, which is fine, you're double closing in your state, so that's okay. But you're in a bad spot now.
Okay. But my question is it a high, like, is it likely that somebody will buy it for, like, what's the chances that somebody will buy it? Is it low or is it high or is it, because I'm willing to take the gamble on it. And how much could I make on it? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Oh shit. Well, if they're not getting anything, I mean, this can go up to, you can kick that all the way up to 10% and be super safe. That's $30,000.
So all right, let's say I give them 5,000. I give the realtor 25.
You give the realtor 5,000.
No. Seller 5,000.
Okay, so if you give the seller $5,000, and then you want to give the realtor 2,500.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you want me to max this out?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we'll just do it. It's okay. There you go.
Okay. And somebody would just be buying it on the entry fee, pretty much.
Yeah. However, I'm gonna tell you right now, for a deal that's not cash flowing, that $17,000-$20,000 entry fee is a whole hell of a lot prettier than that 44,000. I'm just saying, it's your deal. Do what you want.
Okay. But no, I'm gonna go the route that's most likely to sell. So I don't got to make 30 on it. So I mean, if I can make 5 on it, I'm good.
I wouldn't go that low. You have room. Yeah. I wouldn't go that low. I'd probably say you should be very proud of yourself at 15 to 20.
Okay.
You should be very proud of yourself at 15 to 20. Now, as far as they're concerned, will someone buy it? All right, so
Like that takes a special type of buyer, like somebody that needs it for taxes, right?
I mean, yes and no. It's still a good deal. Shit, you could get lucky. That's why I asked you what condition it's in. You could get lucky and sell this thing to a homestead buyer.
I could.
Someone's just going to live in it. Like, buy this turnkey property, $20,000 down, 5.5% interest rate, $3,100 a month. Take over my mortgage. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And that's how you push it. So you could sell it. You could do it. You definitely have to come down on the entry fee a little. What city is it in?
So, Dallas, pretty much. Princeton, Texas.
You might want to go. You definitely want to come down on that entry fee if you're going to go that route. You probably want to max your entry fee out at like 25 grand.
So homestead, that's the best case scenario to sell it.
That's if you find a buyer that just happens to want this property and does not agree with your numbers, meaning like, oh, it looks like this, I can rent this out for 3,600 or whatever, just more than what you're saying, then that'll be your fastest way to move it. But that's going to be rare. You're going to have to find someone that has an investor that has a need for a property but doesn't care about the cash flow for this particular one.
Right.
Or you sell it to a homestead buyer with a low entry fee, $20,000 to $25,000. You can own this property at this interest rate, which is lower than today's interest rates, and just take over my mortgage. And the house is turnkey. That actually is probably going to be your best route.
Okay.
Just you've got the perfect storm for that situation.
Okay.
And you'd have to market it just like that too. And then what city? You said Houston?
Dallas. This is right outside Dallas, Princeton, Texas.
Do you speak Spanish? ¿Se habla español?
I don't.
Tell fucking ChatGPT to write one in Spanish too. I'm not kidding. I'm not joking.
Yeah.
That's not disrespectful.
How fast do those sell though, like on average, or it just depends?
It just depends. There's no way to predict that. It all depends. You need to get this in front of as many people as possible.
Yeah. I mean, shit, I'll JV it. I mean, because I could get this. They said, like, bro, they're dying to sell this to me, like, dying. They asked me about like 4 times.
You could lock it up just as long as you're willing to accept the guilt if you don't sell it and they end up putting $240,000 down. So I would put something in the contract saying that at closing, they will put down $240,000 on the mortgage.
Right.
That way, if it doesn't close, you don't have to worry. Your conscience will be cleaner.
Right.
That's what I would do.
Okay. All right, cool.
Awesome, man. Good luck.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I got 2 more, but I'll let other people go first.
All right. I'll check on Amber, and then we'll go to you next unless somebody else raises their hand. What's up, Amber?
Okay. So this is going to be for a sub 2. Well, I put it down for a hybrid, but it's something new for me. So
okay.
Let's see. It's based on the question I asked in the group.
Is this the one on the solar?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. So you can run it as a hybrid, but it's not a hybrid. Like the calculator is set up to where you can implement solar for their solar finance or solar for their mortgage balance and just swap it out. That's completely fine. But when you write up the contract, you're not using that. So do they have a mortgage right now?
Yes.
Okay. So then do they want equity on top of that, or are we only taking over the mortgage on the solar?
I'd rather, if there's something left, I'd rather give it to them. But if not, then whatever. But based on their asking price, they wouldn't be getting equity. No.
Okay. So then, yeah, it would just be a sub 2.
Okay.
It'd be a sub 2. You'd use the sub 2 contract, and then you can just, in the additional terms, that's where you add the solar information underneath the rest of the mortgage information.
Well, it also said like there's a 0.99% interest rate, and that's what I'm not sure of how to, like, I know to add the numbers together, but what from there? Like from there, I don't know what to do or how it should look.
How do you mean? You mean on
okay.
the contract or on the calculator?
The calculator.
Oh, sure. Okay, we can do it right now. So I will do it in place of the. We'll do it in place of the seller financed amount, since you said they're not going to get anything. All right. What are they selling the house for originally?
Uh,
Or what?
uh,
What's the purchase price? I guess.
well, they're asking 529, but I put down 580 from Deal Sniper.
580,000. Okay, and then
Yes.
what's the mortgage balance?
508.
And they were selling it for 529, and we offered them 580. Shit, I wish
Yes.
we would have known that.
I mean, I can make an adjustment because I
No,
haven't.
that's all right. We don't know. We're not gonna go back on our shit. That's okay. What's the monthly payment?
With everything, 2974.
Well, no, just the mortgage.
Oh, just the mortgage is 2808.
Okay, and then what's the balance on the solar?
39.
39,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then what are you giving them as a down payment? Like 30?
I have 40.
Okay.
But again, just seeing what works.
All right. I'm gonna kick it to we'll do 40. We'll try 40. Okay. So it's a 580,000. Oh, no. Yeah, that's right. $579,000 purchase price. And we've got 580. Nope, you're right. Okay. And then what's the rent for?
4200.
32?
42.
Oh. Damn. Okay. And then this was how much?
2808.
8. And then what's just the solar payment?
166. Like $166.
That's what the deal looks like to an investor.
Okay, hold on. Let me see.
You need bigger?
No. I clicked out of the screen. You're fine. I'm not that blind.
Oh.
Okay, good. So then that's
It
great
works.
then.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
Okay. Thank you. And then you said if I'm filling out the contract, I just add it to the additional terms.
Yeah, so what it'll look like is it'll be the additional terms. You put the mortgage information. So approximate mortgage balance, 508,000. Approximate monthly payment, $2,808.
Mhm.
Interest rate, whatever. And then below that, you put solar balance, approximately 39,000. Monthly payment, approximately, and whatever, what is it? 166. And then interest rate, 1%, because that's what it is. It's 1%. I mean, you could put 0.99, it doesn't matter. That's
And
it.
just like Maurice or Marquise, what do you think the odds of this actually moving? This is also Arizona.
What city?
It's Scottsdale.
Oh, yeah, this is a good deal.
Okay.
What's the condition of the house? Is it jacked up? Is it nice? Average?
I stay away from those. It's a really good home. Actually, I think it was built in like 2003.
Oh shit, yeah, you're good as long as they didn't mess it up.
Okay.
This is a good property, and a lot of, especially in Arizona, solar's real big out there.
Okay, perfect. And then lastly, have you heard from that guy yet or no? I guess you haven't.
Son of a no, I have not, but I will cuss him out right now.
I just
No, I got you.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I have.
No problem. Okay, Marquise, or does someone else have a question? I'm not on that screen.
Yeah, Sean, I got a question real quick.
What's up, dude?
So the most common question I'm getting back from realtors is just like, do you have an agreement, like a formal agreement of sale contract or a pre-approval letter? If they need a pre-approval, does that mean I should move on from it, or should I just give them a call and explain rather than going off the proof of funds thing, but just explain, say, I work for investors, or I have investors that rely on me.
Yeah, I would. I've always recommended that people take the cheat sheet and memorize it, and that will always lead you to a way to navigate those questions. Because once you have all that information stored in your head, then you can come from any angle to insert the actual answer. So yeah, I absolutely think giving them a call and explaining to them, hey, this is what I do. I'm good at it. They're looking to get this house. No, I'm not telling you which one. I signed NDAs with them. If I can get it for these terms or something similar, I've got a little bit of wiggle room. Then I know at least 4 of my buyers will probably want to take it. As soon as I identify which one it is, I'll give you their proof of funds and we could submit EMD 48 hours later.
Okay.
If they have any aversion to that, I would move on. It's just a waste of time. And there's too many properties. There's so many people don't realize how many properties are listed right now. Don't try and make one fit the mold. Just find one that already fits.
Okay, I got it. And what if they say, like, back to that specifically, like, are you a wholesaler? Just
I 100% tell people I'm a wholesaler.
says yes.
Because
I'm looking to do assignment of contract here. Do
yeah,
you do
because
that? Something like that?
if you look at the cheat sheet, the way that it's explained when we explain the POF, we use terms like my buyers, things like that. So we use things to where we are telling them that we're wholesalers, but we're packaging it in a way to where they're more open to hearing at least what we have to say.
Okay.
Because wholesalers have a bad rap because of bad wholesalers.
Right. Okay, I got it. So just give them a call, explain the context.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Be completely open and honest with them.
Got
Tell
it.
them how much of their assignment will cover or their commission will cover if we need to help. Tell them how much time that we need. Tell them, and here's another one that it's really good with real estate agents. However, you have to actually do it. Like, I don't want to find out that I'm telling people to say this just to trick a real estate agent and then not follow through. That's not cool. But you can tell a real estate agent, hey, look, I get it. I'm wholesaling the property. I'm not bringing a buyer, but I'm genuinely just trying to get this property moved and get us all paid. So I'll tell you what, if you come across another buyer who's willing to do all cash while I'm doing my due diligence or my inspection period, I'll let you out of the contract. I'm not here to burn a bridge. I'm not trying to stop you from getting the house sold. Just think of me the next time you have another one. That's all I ask. And then follow through because they'll test you. They'll say, oh, okay. And then they'll call you like a week later. Hey, we got someone that we want to take an all cash offer. Say, all right, cool. I'm going to send you a unilateral cancellation. Give me 10 minutes and then actually send it.
Got it. All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
No problem.
Could you just go back to the inputs page? Sorry.
Yeah, I couldn't do that. This one?
Yes, thank you.
No problemo. Tiffany, what's up? Oh, you're muted if you're talking. Shit, I should have said that a second ago. Oh, maybe she didn't have a question. Okay. Amber, what's up?
I'm sorry. Yes. Okay. You didn't put the interest rate, and I'm noticing that. So I think that'll change the numbers.
It won't.
Oh.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't. The only one that changes the interest rate is this here and this one here. This one doesn't matter. And then the one on the other page, it's just so you can keep track of the deal because you have to fill this out. All that's going on the contract.
Oh, yeah.
So you don't want to, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But the calculation portion that does the interest rate is just this one and this one. The rest of them do not. Like this one doesn't, and this one doesn't.
So if I could ask, that seller finance amount, that is the solar panel. That's what's being financed. That 39,000.
Well, it's not being financed. We're just using the seller finance as a placeholder for extra shit. So this should really be a sub 2. Like it is a sub 2, but because I wanted to show you the numbers, I just used the hybrid because it had extra boxes for me to actually put them there so you can visualize it.
Okay, so should I run sub 2 or hybrid?
Well, it's a sub 2 deal. Yeah, same contract.
Yeah, but I mean, from my understanding, I need to know.
If you ever come across this situation again where there's no seller financed amount, it's just a straight sub 2, but they have an extra thing. Like sometimes they'll have a home improvement loan or a home equity line of credit, something like that. That you can always use the seller financing section of the hybrid column to track that.
Gotcha. So on paper, if I'm marketing it, this is pretty much how it's going to be.
Right, but it's a sub. But when you're that's what when you're marketing it, it's a sub 2. It's a sub 2 with solar. That's how you market it.
Okay. And just am I marketing it separately? Like, I mean, obviously the same deal, but I would keep the mortgage and the solar separate, or am I adding it together?
Are you talking about like when you're going to sell it to an investor, like what to put on like a
Yes.
flyer? I would separate it out. And then at the end, at the bottom, I would total it. So I would say mortgage information, numbers, just like it looks like on the contract. And then right underneath it, solar information, numbers, total monthly payment, 29, whatever it is.
Okay. Got you.
That's how I would, put it like, because you want to break it down, because sometimes they'll just glance at it and then they won't realize that it's got solar, and they'll be like, oh, I didn't know it had solar. Just bullshit. Just, I would make it super simple.
Okay. So when I'm sending my offer to the agent now, should I keep the sub 2 format or
on the contract?
No, like if I'm sending it via email, just a regular offer.
Oh, same situation. All you would do is take the same way that you would format it for the contract and the dispo material, the same way you want to format it in that email. Mr. and Mrs. Realtor, here's what we're looking to do. Here's the mortgage information. My buyer will cover that. Here's the solar information that you gave me. My buyer will cover that. And here's what your seller gets.
Okay.
Same thing.
Easy. Thank you.
Just don't add your assignment fee.
I will not.
Okay. All right. Tiffany, did you have a question?
Yes, I do. Sorry about earlier. I was on the phone. Okay, so yeah, so I'm at work, so sorry about that. So yeah, I have a question for the I'm doing the creator and seller finance option. The deal I sent you earlier this week, I still talking to the realtor, and I got everything set in stone, but when I put my assignment fee in, I started at 10K and then I went backwards. Do you advise us to do that or no?
Wait, you assigned it 10K and then did what?
I did the 10K like you told me to earlier, but the numbers was not going good with the in one of the columns. I can't think of which one it was. It's
Oh,
when you
you
go
mean
to
like your assignment fee killed the deal?
yeah. So I lowered it
Okay.
down. Do you advise us to lower it down or
Yeah, here's what I would do.
okay.
I would lower it on the calculator because you want to know what the real numbers are. But
Okay.
when you go to push it to an investor, and by push it I mean sell it to them, push it for the full 10 grand. You never know what they'll pay. I'm giving you guys universal guidelines for what these people will take.
Okay.
But you could come across a DSCR loan buyer who's willing to put down 40%. Well,
Okay.
you just made
He gave me
on the
pretty
deal.
much, yeah, pretty much when I we talked a while about it, whatever, and he pretty much gave me what the buyer or the seller was really wanting to have. And so his first initial down payment was like 25K. And then he said, well, the highest I'll go is 45K. So I was like, okay. So then, and then another question I have is the last question I have for right now. As far as like interest rate, what is the 5.99? Is that too high or is that kind of a good range to be at? Or do I need to go lesser than that or what?
Well, is it a subject to deal or that's the interest rate that they're asking for?
That's the interest rate he said I guess he's asking for.
Okay. So here's how that works. And this is for everybody who's a little newer. Let me show you guys what it looks like. By the way, there is a video on the YouTube that shows how to do this, but there's a lot of videos there. And I've been told my structuring sucks. Whatever, Calvin. Anyway, so I'm going to put this in here so you guys can see how this works. So for sake of argument, I'm just going to
give you the numbers? I do have the numbers.
Oh yeah, that's even better.
So purchase price is 359,300.
359,300.
And then for seller financing is 359,000. And then the interest rate he said was 5.99%.
Okay.
And then the monthly payment was
Hold on a second. Hold on. What is the seller finance amount? I must have heard you wrong.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I put, right? Yeah.
That can't be right because that means you're only giving them
No.
$300 down payment.
Okay, maybe I did a typo or something on it. Maybe. I think that's it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
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 And actually, let me just clean this up real quick. Okay. What'll it rent for?
He said he wanted like $1,822 and some change. So I just rounded up.
To 1,800.
Yeah.
Okay, so it'll rent for 1,800. What are the taxes and the insurance?
Insurance is $2,091.60, but I always, round it up.
Mm-hmm.
And then the
And the taxes?
insurance taxes $1,374.16, which of course round that up to.
Okay, and then what did Deal Sniper say we should give them as a monthly payment?
Um, I didn't do that part yet. That's the part where I was getting confused. As far as the payment, that's another question I wanted to ask you. What do I put there? Because I thought I would put what he asked for, but I don't put that right.
Well, I mean, kind of yes and kind of
Okay.
no. So in your situation, ultimately you would, but where the number comes from is right here. So
Right.
it's right underneath monthly or estimated rent. You look for monthly payment. So in this situation, it would be $400. Can
Okay.
you put the address into Deal Sniper on your end and tell me what the monthly payment is?
Well, I'm not at a computer right now.
Oh,
I'm at work.
that's okay. You know what? Let me do it this way then. We'll just do what they said. Is that too low? That's probably too low. We'll do 6. That works. Okay. So we'll just assume for the sake of this, the Deal Sniper said give a $600 payment. 1,800? Yeah, that sounds about right. Maybe 550. So once you put your deal into the calculator the way that Deal Sniper says it should be, then you can start messing with the numbers by putting in what they're asking for. So in this situation, and Amber, going back to you and the interest rate, so he wants 6% interest, 599. He wants 6% interest. So if you notice, see where it says monthly payment? Well, at 0% interest, at 0% interest, it should be $941.67. That should be the
Okay.
monthly payment.
Okay.
That's right.
So if we do it at 6%, hold on one second. Now it raises the payment to $2,032.48. So to touch on what you were saying earlier, putting in the calculator what he wanted, that's what you would do at this part. So now you know what it looks like. You know that your number is 20.59 and you're bringing in $7,695 a year for the investor. But that's at $600 a month. If we change it to what he asked for, which is 6%, that changes the payment to $2,032. Now your dealer is losing $9,500 to that investor. So this doesn't work. And a lot of times what I would do is, especially if he knows that you're wholesaling, as a matter of fact, you can only do this if you're wholesaling. Now you can do, I mean, yeah, I'm not even gonna teach you guys how to do it if you don't tell you're wholesaling. Just tell people you're wholesaling. If once you tell them that you're wholesaling and they ask you for the numbers, then all you do is take a little screenshot of this box right here and you say, take a look at this. This is the numbers that you asked for. There's no way in the world I can sell a property that's going to lose $10,000 a year to my investor. I'm not saying we can't move forward. I'm just saying I can't give you what you asked for. What kind of wiggle room do you have? If they say none, move on. Disqualify them quick.
Okay.
If they say, oh, this is just what I want. Okay, well, good luck. If they say they have wiggle room, then you go back to this number. You go back to the $600 that it was, or whatever it was. And then you just start going up. So let's go 800. Okay. Let's go 900. That's it. So they wanted $2,000 a month. You can give them 900. That's it. Otherwise, the deal won't cash flow. If the deal won't cash flow, an investor won't buy it. And that's exactly what you should tell them.
Okay. Thank you so much, Sean.
No problem. Does anybody have any questions on when a real estate agent tells you what they want for an interest rate? How to do that?
One more question before you get into the teaching.
What's up? Oh, I was going to come back to you. I know you had 2 more deals to go over. I didn't forget.
My fault.
Okay, so in that regard, yes, because actually I was gonna ask you that myself. Like if you go back to the inputs page,
Okay.
and then yes, okay, so let's say they want okay, I mean that was a good example. They want 6%.
Oh.
Now this is what I am wondering. So if I'm typing up the contract, everybody's agreed to terms. Do I have to say, because I'm saying monthly payment, right? Monthly payment 2,000, blah blah blah. Do I need to still say interest rate 6% because I've already calculated that in?
Yes, because here's the thing, and this is for everybody who's new. The contracts, the additional terms, all the way that I tell you guys to put it in. And do you have to do it my way? No, but you do have to include the information I'm telling you to include, because title, they don't know what we're doing. They don't know anything. So they need to do their paperwork. They need to do the escrow paperwork. They need to do the title paperwork. So the additional section or additional terms section of the contract is your instructions to title. Think about it like that. You can write it out in story form if you want. You can write it out in paragraph form. You can write it out like stereo instructions, like I teach you guys to do. All you're doing is telling title and escrow what's going on. Because if you don't tell them and there's no interest rate, and then the buyer does something screwy with the monthly payments, or the seller's claiming that there's money owed that they're not getting, and title doesn't know that there was ever an interest rate involved, that's a clusterfuck. You don't want that.
Yeah.
Tell them what's going on.
Okay, just a breakdown.
Yeah, be specific. It's just a breakdown, telling them what this sub to or what this seller finance or what this hybrid deal looks like. That's all it is. It'd be no different than if it was a cash deal and the seller said, hey, I'll sell you my house, but I need to stay in here for 2 weeks after we close because I need the money in order to pack up and move. So now it has to go in the contract. So now the buyer can't say, hey, I just bought this place yesterday, get out. Because if it wasn't in the contract, that seller's screwed.
Got you. Okay, yeah. Okay, thank you.
No problem. All right, Marquise, what's up, man?
All right, so this one I got an off-market vacant lot.
Okay.
I got brought to me by a realtor. So I got it at $29K, and a comp around the corner sold this month for $375. So it's the same exact, almost the same lot. Yeah.
You want to cut through the riffraff real quick?
Yeah.
Find out. You see the one that sold, right? Like you comped it, so obviously you know the address.
Yeah. So I got the realtor to send me the comps.
Right.
Yeah.
But you need to contact the real estate agent who listed the one that just sold.
Okay.
For $375. And you're gonna call that real estate agent, you're gonna say, hello. I have a property. I'm a wholesaler. I have a property under contract. Here's the address. You just listed this one at this address. Mine's the same size, very similar, whatever the situation is. Could you push this to your buyer? And if you want to throw your fee on top, I have no problem with that. Here's what I'm trying to make.
Okay.
Because they're just going to go right back to that same buyer and be like, because if they're a developer or something, or a builder, they're going to say, hey, I got another one for you.
Right. Okay.
That's what I would do.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's simple. So I don't even gotta.
If your comp is accurate, then no, you do not. Call that seller or call that real estate agent and say, look, you just sold this one. The person that bought it, can you let them know I have another one? Here, I'm going to send it to you. I'm trying to make this much. I don't care how much you make. Throw your fee on top.
Right.
That's it.
Okay.
Now you got the real estate agent hunting buyers for you.
Okay, cool. And then I got another one that's multifamily, but
nice.
It's hard to find multifamily comps in Texas because it's like you can't pretty much, but it's new construction all around it. So
okay.
Yeah, it's like
what's the question? I missed
how do I go about seeing how much it's worth, pretty much?
Oh, you're saying you're having difficulty comping it?
Yeah.
I can comp it for you, but I can't comp it for you on here because the address and YouTube and all that stuff. So I'll tell you what, text it to me. I'll comp it to you as soon as we hang up.
Okay. All right.
I'll comp it to you as soon as we hang up. It must be a long day. I'll send it to you as soon as we hang up. I'll comp it.
Hey, we knew what you meant. It still made sense.
Right.
Bullshit, it did.
Still made sense.
No, it didn't. That did not. I'll
I
cop it to
swear,
you.
bro.
That didn't make no
That's why nobody said anything because
Right.
we knew what you meant.
Yeah, I was gonna say something.
I knew he was. See?
Oh my God.
All right. Does anyone have any more questions about deals or underwriting or anything like that before we move on? What's up?
So one more deal. This is going to be the largest purchase price I've ever worked with. So I just want to make sure it's even freaking movable.
1.5 million.
I wish, but no,
Oh.
it's not that much. It's not that high.
Well, you did an 8 once. What is it, 9?
Oh damn, you're right. Well, this
I know.
this seems promising though. So technically,
right.
I don't even count the other one.
All right, hit.
Purchase price is
Wait, seller finance?
yes.
Oh shit. Okay. Yeah. What is it?
750 purchase price.
Okay.
Ding, 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 ding. Seller finance 332. Down
332.
yeah. Oh shit. No, it's not. Doesn't make sense. Wait, I messed up. Hold on. Wait. Okay, so 750 and then 500. 637 500 is the seller finance amount.
Okay.
637 500. Okay, down payment is 112.5.
Huh?
$112,000. Well, it's 112 and 500. Whatever. 112,500.
Okay. And then what we're going for?
It's renting for 6,000.
Damn. Where is this? Texas?
La, 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 la.
What are the taxes and insurance?
Yes, it's either Texas. No, it's Arizona.
Oh.
Taxes and insurance is taxes $17.95, and then insurance is $31.49.
All right. And the monthly payment?
Yeah, she wants $3,500.
That's a lot.
Yes, it is.
That's a whole lot.
So because and what I meant to by the most I've ever dealt with is obviously the down payment.
Yeah.
And yeah, I want to see if it's worth my time even.
I'm gonna say no. Not at 3,500.
Okay.
What kind of conditions the house in?
It's I mean excellent. There's no mortgage or anything. It's top tier turnkey.
2,750 would be better.
Okay. They're not gonna do that. I'm not
Because
even gonna
3,500, that's a 5.8 cash on cash return. That's not gonna work.
Okay.
Not for $137,000 entry fee.
Can you tap in 3,200? No.
8.6. No, to get the minimum or the highest.
Yeah,
It's
it's not gonna work.
How long has it been on market?
I think like 60 days.
They have a tenant in there. Is that why you didn't run it as a short-term rental?
No, there's no tenant.
Oh.
I guess I could do that.
I can tell you what it would have to be. You said the taxes are 7,950.
Taxes 7,950. Hold on, because I'm doing too much at once. Taxes.
There's got to be 60.
Yes. No, the taxes is 17.95.
Oh shit. Okay,
Yeah.
hold on. That's completely different.
And then insurance is 31.49.
That's what I put.
That's good, right? I mean, barely, but
you're barely there. I think your only issue is going to be the entry fee. Why do they want so much down? I know why. That's a stupid question. Is there any chance you can get them lower?
No. She really specified 15%. And I could tell from her pictures, the agent, she wants what she wants, and so will the seller.
Oh, then yeah. I mean, you can try. You can set the expectation and say, "Look, this is way higher than my buyers are usually comfortable with. So give me a couple of weeks, and I'll try. If someone comes along that wants to buy it full cash while I'm still in my due diligence period, just let me know. I'll let you out of the contract. I'm here to build bridges, not burn them. And just think of me when you think of me when you come across the next one. That's your only shot, but you need to let them know ahead of time, like, hey, this is high.
5,000 EMD, is that ridiculous?
No, not at all. For a $760,000 purchase price, no.
Okay.
They could have said 10. I wouldn't have batted an eye. That makes sense. That's the other issue with expensive properties. Everything is bigger. EMD is bigger. So $5,000, that might scare off some investors. Probably not, but it could. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So
Have you guys moved to property like this big magnitude?
As far as the entry fee, no, there's probably not. I don't think Dispo would have even. I don't think they would have even pushed this. And honestly, I probably wouldn't have let it get past me.
Okay.
Because here's why. I'll tell you the difference. If this were like this, right, with 18.12%, but that was your cash on cash return, yeah, you can move that. You can absolutely move that. But 35, I mean, your cash on cash return, what they're asking for, I mean, it's literally scraping the barrel. It's scraping it. And $14,000 a year for $137,000. We're talking 10 years before they recoup that. Versus 3 years if it was, or 4 years if it was $2,000. Yeah, 4 years, give or take.
Damn it. Okay, so let's say I can negotiate. We can do 2,000. What's going to be the best case scenario? Like, what steps should I take after that?
Like after you get it locked up?
Once I get them to agree to $2,000.
I mean, after that, I mean, you just make your dispo material. I would still set the proper expectation. I really would. I think you're going to have a much easier time moving it with that type of cash flow, even with that entry fee. But the first thing you should do is check the STR and see if that, because you may not have to, or hell, combination both, where the STR is good and you talk them down less than $3,500. How long has it been on market?
Give me just a second. I'll let you know. 8, 4.
Don't say over 100 days. Because if it's close to 100 days or over, then I think your assessment the first time was right. The real estate agent or the seller aren't going to budge.
It's like 61 days.
I'd say try it. I mean, you already knew I was going to say that. Because worst case scenario, if you approach them and say, look, there's no way this is going to move at this price. I'd have to get it at this. If you can get it at this, we have a shot. If they say yes, cool. If they say no, hey, you practice pitching. That's the worst case scenario. Is you got better.
Okay. So short term would be 68,300 divided by 12. 68,300 divided by 12. About $5,700 for short term, which is less than long term.
Oh, so then that's not gonna work.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
No problem. Anybody else have any other questions? All right, cool. So I put
to say what
what's up?
I've spoken.
Hello, Sean.
Yeah.
I have one that's similar to the one that Amber just did.
Okay.
Can you see if the numbers work for me?
Sure.
Okay, so the purchase price is $250.
Okay.
Seller finance is $235. I'm sorry. Students have been impacted by the raids that began on June 6th. They want 15,000 down.
Okay.
What
What are they in for?
Bill Sniper's 1,800.
Okay.
But the arrests did not happen on school. This one has an HOA.
Okay. How much is the HOA?
264. Park near the Huntington Park High School. Taxes. No one at the
Go ahead.
school. Taxes 4571.
Okay.
And then
And the insurance?
insurance 964.
All right. And what does Deal Sniper say we should give them monthly?
Conspiracy to abuse. That's a federal charge carrying 800. Well, it was 7. I put 800. I think it was like 772 or something. Could I do 7? But I had sent the offer at 600.
Oh, okay. All right. That makes much more sense. 'Cause I was like, that's crazy. All right. So then this deal looks fine. What did the real estate agent ask you for?
So now they're asking for 8%.
Oh, shit.
That's right.
All right. So now that the deal is in there, let's go ahead and put 8%. So it should be 652, which is real close. We're at 600. Oh, no. That's the exact same what it'll run for, damn near.
Right. So there's no wiggle room. And then they also said if I could work some numbers at a 30-year fix and a 3 to 5 year balloon.
The 3 to 5 year balloon on a $260,000 purchase price isn't that big of a deal. It'd be on the high side. We'd have to do the 5 year. That's fine. But 1724, here's what I would do. I would send them a screenshot of this square.
Which I took a picture of it.
And I would say there's no way, as you can see, if we buy this with the terms that you're asking for, my investor will be losing $8,000 a year.
Right.
So there's no way we're going to be able to do that. Now, if you guys are willing to have some wiggle room on the terms so that my buyer can cash flow and we still get you guys monthly, I can give you the balloon. That's no problem. But that monthly payment and that interest rate is not going to work.
Right. Because she said she wanted even if I was to put it at 230 instead of the 250, I don't think that 8% still would work.
8% doesn't work at all because it makes the payment $1,724.
Right. It has no mortgage on the property. And then she also said, like they probably want $1,500 a month. So the $800 is what we're going to pay them monthly, not nothing on top of that, right?
Well, there's no mortgage, right?
No.
Yeah, so they would get $15,000 cash at closing, and then they would get $800 or $600 or $800, whatever the monthly payment is. We would give them that every single month, the first of every month for 5 years, and at the end of 5 years, we pay them off the balance.
Because I was thinking, because she was like, work with my numbers. I was like, what if I was to give her 6%?
Well, let's see. Well, first of all, let's do this. Let's see what's the most that we could give them.
I think it's
So
like
you're at
45, 750. But that was at, I want to say at an 8%.
50, 800,
So was it 745?
775.
775 is the highest.
Yes, that's the highest that we can give them. So now let's see what happens if I put in a 1% interest rate. 755. So they can have 1% interest. That's it. They can only have a $775 payment.
At least 1%.
Yeah.
Because she was like, I like the deal. She was like, I want to do the deal, but she was like, can we get it at 8%? I'm looking like, I put in my numbers. I was like, 8% does not work.
Yeah. And again, a lot of people are real visual. And I would say, look, I tried to go get you that 8%. I put it into my system. This is what it looked like. I mean, obviously send her the one at
right.
8%.
I have it.
And say, as you can see, if my investor were to buy this, or any investor, they would lose $8,000 a year. Obviously, that's not going to work.
Right. Okay.
And then go from there. And honestly, if she's nice, which she sounds like she is, then I would say it like that, and then I would start to give follow-up.
Right, because she
was
actually
not very nice. I would just be quiet after that.
Yeah, she was very nice, but she was so into The offer that I sent, she went over her husband because they do it together.
Well, yeah, I mean, these are good offers. Like when
Yeah.
people take a look at what we're offering, especially people who are paying mortgages, paying taxes, paying insurance, paying utilities on properties that are just sitting on the market vacant. Yeah, this is better. Instead of losing money every month, you're getting some every month. And then we pay you
Okay.
off a little at a time.
Okay, and then Sean, she said something about that's not going to include escrow property taxes.
Yeah, what she's saying is she wants the buyer to pay the taxes and the insurance, which they always do. So that's fine.
So okay, say that again one more time, Sean.
What she's saying is that she wants the buyer, the investor, to pay the taxes and the insurance every single month, which they do anyway. That's part of the program.
Okay,
So that's
so I'll let her know that as well.
Okay.
Okay, thanks so much, Sean.
You're very welcome. Okay. So now I want to go over the other stuff that I put in the Discord. We're going to try and see if we can upgrade the way that you guys are interacting with these people. And again, whether it's a seller or a real estate agent, a buyer, it doesn't matter. So the first thing, because the first part was only supposed to go until 6. So we're a little bit behind schedule because I have stuff to do, but I want to get this information to you. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to talk about how to stop asking questions. I want you guys to be able to do what I do. I gather information off of people. Yes, I'm crazy and I've got that other thing that I do, but that's not what I'm talking about. The way that I talk to people is very disarming. That's why it's very easy for people to take in what I'm saying, because they don't feel like they're being sold anything, because I'm not trying to sell them. But there's a way to sound like that. And part of the way is to stop triggering people's ability to want to self-defend. So anytime you ask someone a question, there's a little person in their head that says, let me be careful how I answer this because I'm being solicited for information. My answer is going to matter. So I'm going to show you guys how to do it a little bit differently. But I need a volunteer. I need someone to talk to me about what they do. Amber, what do you do for a living? If you don't mind me asking.
Other than real estate?
Yeah. What'd you do before you got into real estate?
I'm a baker. I'm in the baking business.
You're in the baking business?
Yes.
Do you know, it's so funny that you said that, because first of all, I love donuts. That's a problem for me. Donuts and bisque cheesecake. Oh my God. I'm going to make one of those this weekend. Anyway, I heard that the schedules for bakers, the real bakers, really isn't as crazy as people make it out to be. Like this whole, you got to wake up early and start all this stuff. Like that's not accurate.
No, it's not.
So what time do you guys actually get up and have to start doing everything that you're doing?
I mean, my get up early is going to be about 9:00 a.m. Eastern time. It's not like I have to have dough that rises or anything like that. Like I do a bunch of pastries, and I'm very 420 friendly. I'll say that.
So
yeah.
is that why you sleep in?
No, I don't sleep in. That's just what time I get started on the baking stuff.
So speaking of the 420 friendly, and keep in mind, I know nothing about it, but I've heard a lot of stories. And one of the stories that I've heard is that it really like pumps you up. Like this whole idea that you just veg out on the couch all day long is total crap.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's not like that at all. It's actually, I mean, you have to kind of think about your intake, if I could use that. But it also depends on the consumer. So if they're lazy, you might get lazy results. I mean, that's typically how it goes, but it's not like a one size fits all. You kind of just got to do what works for you.
So when they tell people that if you do this, it's the whole gateway drug and all the stuff that well, at least me, when I grew up in school, and then it just rots your brain, that's not true.
I would say no. Obviously that's not my lifestyle, so no. But it again, it all depends on the person. If it's in their genes already, they probably shouldn't partake. You know, but for the most part, no, it's not going to lead you to pipes and rocks and stuff.
So let me ask you this. I'm making an assumption here, but you're not a big drinker.
No.
Yeah.
It's usually one or the other.
Gotcha. Thank you for volunteering. I appreciate that.
For sure.
So for those of you that weren't talking, how many questions did I ask?
I think 3. Ooh.
I did ask 3. Now, she didn't give it up on the first one. I thought you were going to, but you just answered with a no, that's not true. Okay, that's all right. But the second one, I didn't ask you all that information that you gave me. I made a statement. I made an incorrect statement on purpose so that you would feel the urge to correct me. And in correcting me, you gave me way more information than I ever asked you for, that I ever would have gotten had I just asked you directly. That's what I want you guys to start practicing. I want you guys to start practicing making statements versus asking questions. And it's going to be hard. You're going to want to do high inflection at the end to signal that you're asking a question without asking a question, like Jillian from Family Guy. You're going to want to ask a question at the end because you think they're not going to get it or it's not going to work. Let me tell you something. As complex as you humans are, you're still very simple. You guys don't deviate from the script very much. So just try it. Start making statements. And you're going to start making statements based off of wholesaling because that's the conversations you're going to have. Here's a good one. Wait, what's up? You got one? Or did you sneeze?
I was about to say something.
Say it.
It was completely like I ain't gonna lie, I kind of zoned out and like I forgot you was talking, so I was just gonna say, "Oh,
What is
Sean,
it?
I got blah 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 rent," and he was in the middle of a thing, so my bad.
Hey, at least you're honest. I appreciate that. So let's start with wholesaling. And again, you kind of, there's an art form to this, and once it clicks, you'll get it. So let's run through a couple of drills. Darren, you weren't listening to me the first time, so I'm going to use you now. What's a very common question you get from a real estate or a common question you want to ask a real estate agent that you think that they would have a hard time answering? You want one?
Yeah.
Does this property have a mortgage?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question.
Okay, so ask that question with a statement. I want you to trigger my wanting to correct your incorrectness.
Okay.
So make a statement to me about the mortgage.
So since this property is free and clear, your seller wouldn't have no issue with me paying $600 a month.
That sounded a lot like a question. Technically, it was a statement, but you asked a question just there.
Oh yeah, the second part I asked the question.
You did. Don't
Okay.
do that. That's our instinct. You're not wrong. That's how
Yeah.
you're wired. I'm trying to rewire you.
Okay.
Don't ask a question. Tell me something that insinuates I either have or don't have a mortgage.
Okay. So since this property is free and clear, and then I'm stuck. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know what to say after that. So
Okay. I'll give you one. Let's say, what kind of properties do you guys target online based off the SOPs?
Turnkeys.
And what else?
Moving ready.
How long has it been on market?
Over like 96 days.
Gotcha. So Darren, I'm assuming because this property's been on market for 90 days, there's no mortgage. There's one.
No, it actually does have a mortgage, Sean. You're wrong.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, if you can give me the mortgage balance, the interest rate, and the monthly payment, you can scratch the offer I sent you the first time. I'll send you a new one covering that mortgage also. Right into the cheat sheet answer. You guys can make statements that are incorrect on purpose to elicit people to correct you. That's what you want. That's how you get all the information. Could you imagine if I got into the back of a car and it was an Uber driver and I said, I read an article that Uber is like the most highly sought after job in the United States right now. You must like really love what you do. How many people that you met that are Uber drivers that love what they do? That's a ridiculous statement most of the time. So what do you think they're going to say? Well, actually, Uber sucks, and they're going to start going into giving you a whole bunch of information versus versus you saying, "Hey, does it suck working for Uber?" No, that's cool. That's fine. It's just a job. That's the answer you would get. Same thing with wholesaling. Does property have a mortgage? Why are you a wholesaler? What does it matter? You get answers like that. I'm assuming since this property's been on mortgage for so long that there's no. I'm assuming since this property's been on market for so long, there's no mortgage. So here's what I'm thinking about doing, and then start talking. And if they don't correct you, guess what? There's no mortgage. It was a correct assumption. So let's do another one. Who else has got a question that they find difficult to ask?
Hey, Sean, I haven't done a deal yet, but I'm assuming that this may be a difficult question. When it comes to asking realtors, like if they have a commission.
You mean like if they're all realtors get commission. So you're asking if the realtor's expecting us to help with their commission?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm trying to ask.
That is a good one.
Ooh, let me make a statement.
Go for it. Holy shit.
So let's say she asks, "Oh yeah, can you cover my commission?" I could be like, "Yeah, so since you're only charging 1.5 for commission, and yeah, I wouldn't have no problem covering that." And then she probably gonna correct me like, actually no, I charge 6%," and then you can probably go negotiate from there.
And then you can hit with a whoa. That's pretty good, but that's a little bit outside of what we're doing. I want you to make a statement. Well, I mean, you kind of did, but I don't think that's if you guys are talking commission. I don't think asking a real estate agent, "Hey, how much are you charging on this so I can make sure you're paid?" I don't think that's an unfair question. That's not a difficult question to ask. Asking if they're expecting us to cover the commission, that's different. So let's see. How would I answer that? What kind of statement would I make? So if I want to ask, "Hey, are you expecting me to cover your commission?" Instead of that, I would say, that's more of a declarative statement. That's not a corrective statement. We need a corrective statement.
You can just say, "I'm assuming your seller is covering all of your commission."
You could say the opposite too. No, that works. But you could say the opposite too. I assume that the real estate agent, or I'm sorry, so then your seller's going to have an issue taking this offer because of your commission, huh?
But that's a question.
Oh, well, leave the huh out. So the seller's going to have an issue paying your commission. See, even me, I do this shit and I still just turn it into a question.
Yes, there's a fluctuation at the end.
Yeah, you guys got to practice. That's why we're going to start doing this like once a week. I'm going to teach you guys something else new to start talking like me. Not the crazy part, the business part. But yeah, that would be a good one. Your seller's going to have an issue with your commission now, huh? Oh shit, I did it again. Yeah, your seller's going to have, so your client's going to have an issue with your commission. And then they may say, why? Well, because they were expecting $260,000 at closing, and then they could pay you your commission, but now they're getting $20,000 at closing, and you're charging what, 6%? So, no, I'm not. I'm charging whatever. You can also flip it. You can turn it into a joke. I don't know how well this one's going to land, dude. You could say something along the lines of, you can make it you really hyperbolize the number. So you can say, "I don't know if we can do this deal. You're charging this guy 10%. Something stupid like that. Mm-hmm. And then they'll correct you and they'll say, "No, I'm not." But you have to make it blatantly, like, I don't tell jokes, but you have to make it blatant that you're making a joke. That's the only way that's going to land. And then if the realtors kind of maybe don't go that way, I don't know. I haven't talked to too many realtors that joke around.
Some realtors, they're going to hang up on you.
Yeah. Okay, you guys can just etch a sketch that one. Oh my God, you guys don't know what that is, do you? Does anyone on here know what an etch a sketch actually is?
Yes, absolutely. The little red thing with the knobs.
Okay, all right. Let's I'm not alone.
I mean, it was in Toy Story too for all of the younger people.
Oh, I never saw that.
Wait, what is it called?
Nothing. Were you gonna talk shit some more? Leave it alone. Go take a nappy. Go ahead, Amber.
Damn it, I forgot. Oh,
Sorry.
okay. So I'm assuming you're looking to get paid on both sides.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Or you can even make it even more assumptive. And you're getting paid on both sides. So that's awesome. Because that'll prompt, what do you mean? Which will allow you to explain. It's just another door or a window, a crack in their armor, so you can explain more. Because chances are, unless they've been burned by another bad wholesaler, once they hear what you're actually, and I don't mean hear you. I mean, once they're listening, there's a difference. Like Darren did. He heard me, but then he zoned out. He wasn't listening. So once they're listening to what you're saying, the deal's not bad. We're not pushing people shitty deals. It's just another way to get in. So you make a statement. Oh, this will be awesome for you because you're getting paid on both sides. So what we're going to do is, and I just start talking. Well, what do you mean I'm getting paid on both sides? Well, you don't think we're not going to kick you down with some commission, right? Like, really? What kind of people you've been working with? And you could really just take off and go, you want, yeah, all right, I'll do it. So then you could really just take off and just start doing it. Like you can start riffing and then having fun with it. Why not? And because if you can make a real estate agent laugh, as a lot of you guys know that that's very difficult, you're probably in.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Sean,
So, yeah.
Okay.
What's up, dude?
Can I ask a question in regards to commission? Since they're not getting, since we're not selling the house, well, since they're not selling the house at like full price, 200,000, we're giving them a down payment. How do agents get their whole commission? Like,
that's literally what we're going over. So depending on how much the real estate agent is charging, let's say, well, I mean, even if they're charging, so if we're doing like, let's say a 300,000, or we'll do 200,000, it's easier. Let's say it's a $200,000 purchase price, right? And we're giving them $20,000 down. Well, even if the real estate agent was charging 6%, that's only $8,000 coming out of the 20. So that's coming out of the seller's down payment. That's why we added that little message on the down payment part for Deal Sniper, because we didn't sign contracts with these agents. The seller did. So technically, we shouldn't be on the hook for their commission. We're putting ourselves on the hook for it so we can get the deal done, so we can make it more enticing. But a lot of deals that come through my team and that get moved don't have realtor commissions on there. They just don't, because a lot of times it's just too much. There's not enough. Or, you have to be okay with not making a full 10 grand on the deal, which I know a lot of you guys are absolutely okay with that, and that's fine. Just don't discount yourself too much. I'd much rather you guys miss out on a couple of deals trying to hone your skills so that you don't have to pay realtor commissions in the future moving on, than take little tiny commissions, because once you get into that slump, it's just going to be, what do I always say? Practice makes permanent. So the more you do it, the more that's just going to be the routine. And on every deal where you could be making more, you're giving most of it away to someone who is already getting commission from the seller. Darren, what's up, dude?
My question is not about the commission.
Go for it.
So let's say from a buyer perspective, you never really know what a buyer gonna buy, but let's say, do you think like taking over somebody's mortgage at 2,200, 7% interest, right, just to cash flow only like 500, is that even worth it? Because the interest is high.
500 a month?
Yeah, like it's 560.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Does the property need like a shit ton of work that's going to make that ROI take longer?
No, it's smooth already.
Yeah,
and it has a current tenant in there.
Yeah, that's almost double. That's almost double the minimum. That's fine.
Okay. I was thinking
you're
because
asking
like 7%
because of
interest.
Yeah, but interest rates right now are damn near 7%, especially for an investment property.
But yeah, I got this thing in Florida. I got this thing in Florida, and they're struggling to move because it's like a 6% interest. 6% interest, but the PITI is like 3,200. So you do a cash flow like 400, 500. No, actually, no, 600, and they're struggling to move. And it's a 6.
Really? Is it a duplex?
No. It's like 12 miles away from Tampa. And yeah, I don't know.
Did you run it as a short term?
No, that was running as a long term. Short term, basically the same thing. Running out
Is
for
it
actually no,
really?
just a little bit more.
I would.
Yeah.
I don't know what your dispo material looks like, but I'm assuming you pushed it out with LTR emphasis. I would redo it and push it out purely as a short term, because if it's 12 miles from Tampa at a 6-bedroom, 3-bath, that's a Airbnb party house all day long. And that's
Yeah.
how, and whoever buys that, that's what they should do with it, and probably would. I think you might be marketing this to the wrong people.
I was talking to Brandon about this.
Because think about it. Think of a long-term rental. Now, this is going to be funny, and just we're on the same page. I'm half Italian, so I've got a big family too. But if you've got, an either super religious or a super ethnic family, those are the only people that are going to need a 6-bedroom house.
It's huge.
So who the hell is? That's my point. Who's going to rent it out as a long-term? What an investor is going to look at it and like, who the hell am I going to rent a 6-bedroom to? But an Airbnb, they're going to be like, oh my God, that's $100 a room. It's 12 miles from Tampa, which is a party city. That's what they would do. I would market it as a short-term rental, like ASAP. That's what I would do. And I would push it out as such.
Yeah, I asked Brandon to push it out, and like people keep skipping on it because like the interest is at, I think it's like 6% or like 5.9, something like that.
That shouldn't be an issue.
It shouldn't be an issue. Yeah, I don't know
rates
why.
right now are higher than now. 6% isn't great.
Yeah,
but it's lower than what the interest rates are right now. Is this a sub 2 or a hybrid? Or a sub 2 or a
sub
hybrid?
2.
Oh, that should move.
I can shoot that over to you. Maybe
Yeah,
you might
text
have
it. Text it to me. I'll look at it.
Sure.
Let's see if Daniel can move it. Yeah. Okay. Okay, cool. All right. I want to go a little bit deeper into some of the other things. I've got about 15 minutes to go over the rest of this stuff. So when we're talking about making statements versus asking questions, what I want you guys to do is tonight, tomorrow, whatever, if you have not, memorize the cheat sheet. And then I want you to think about every single question of real estate you've ever wanted to ask a seller or a real estate agent that you think you've had a hard time. And these could be anything. What if a property's been on market for a very long time and they just did a price drop, right? $5,000 price drop. I'm assuming after that price drop, you must have offers coming left and right across your desk. Do I even have a space to fit in? That's one you can use because it's funny. And it's realtor funny. Someone might actually laugh at that. But that's a statement that you can make because you're just trying to elicit a response. It's very difficult. This is way more difficult to do role playing than I thought. Tiffany, what's up?
Yeah, my question is, what is a balloon? I keep hearing that term, and I don't understand. What do you mean by balloon?
So I'll give you an example. Let's
Okay.
say you have a best friend, right? Your best friend's named Sean. You're going to buy Sean's car, but you don't have all the money right now. So you tell me, hey, I'll give you $2,000 now, and I'll give you $200 a month. And I'm like, okay, cool, but it's going to take you a long time. You owe me $20,000. So I don't want to wait that long. I don't want to wait 15 years at $200 a month. So pay me off in 5 years. So whatever you owe me in 5 years, pay me the balance, and then we're done. That's a balloon.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of like a car payment type of situation, like when you go to get a car and you don't have all the money for the car, but you go and get like monthly payments or financing on the car, something like of that nature, right?
Not that part. It's the part where you're paying off the balance all at one shot after a certain amount of time.
Oh,
that's what a balloon is. A balloon basically says you owe me this much money. I don't want to wait years and years and years and years and years to get it. So you're going to pay me off in X amount of years. You're going to give me the balance. That's all a balloon is.
Okay.
Cool.
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. Amber, what's up?
I forgot my question. I'm sorry. Keep going.
No big deal. Just yell when you remember.
I got you. I can do that.
Okay. Let's see. The next thing. when you're talking to people, you have to have this mentality where, one, what you're doing, what you're saying, how you're acting, whatever, is completely normal to the point where they think that they're the one that's weird. So when I used to sell, I used to be a loan officer. A lot of people don't know that. I used to be a loan officer years ago, and we would buy leads. And one of the main questions as a loan officer that we have to ask is, what's your social security number? Now, right now, that seems like an absurd question to ask someone. But back then, people were giving over their social security numbers to random strangers on the phone if you ask right. And that's what I did. I would ask in a way to where, why aren't you giving me this? This is stupid. Like, everyone does this. What are you talking about? It's peer pressure. It's exactly what it is, but not as strict as peer pressure. We're not trying to make people uncomfortable. Maybe a little bit. So I would ask, okay, spell your last name for me. Awesome. And then your address, 123 Main Street, Houston. Awesome. How long you been at your job? Cool. What's the address of your job? Well, how much money do you make per year? What's your social? That's it, just like that. There is no, okay, and I need your social security number. No, what's your social? And I don't even use the word number. It's all about your delivery. So when I tell someone I need your mortgage statement, here's how I do that. Just to give you a heads up, Amber, we are going to need a copy of your mortgage statement just so we can verify the loan number, the balance, the interest rate, all the stuff you told me. You can black out any of the other information. I really don't need any of that. But I do need the loan number to be visible, your mortgage balance, your interest rate, and your monthly payment. When I say that, my face does the Robert De Niro squint, and I'm literally in real life flicking my hands. Like, I don't need all that. Just, you can black all that out. I don't care. It matches what I'm saying. It matches my tone. Do you know how many times I've gotten a blacked out mortgage statement? Once. From people, I'm not giving you anything. I'm not signing anything. To hell with you. 20 minutes later. Yeah, I'll see your mortgage statement. What's your email address, Sean? Sure. Nah, I don't need to black out anything. I trust you. So it's all about your delivery. Same thing when you're very matter of fact. When you're very matter of fact with a real estate agent, it is what it is. I can't remember who it was earlier. Sarah, I think it was you, or Amber, it could have been you. But one of you guys, I said, look, tell the real estate agent it's this, this, and this. And if they can't do it, then we're not doing it. Like, it's not going to work. Send them the screenshot. Show them. And then you ask a very important question. How am I supposed to do that? And then you wait. Here's another tip that I want you guys to start using. Bring the realtor or the seller in on the joke. And what I mean by that is tell them to help you design an offer that will work for the seller based off of what you need and what you know and what they know that the seller needs. Because people are more likely to be on board with something that they help to create. So now the real estate agent isn't saying, hey, I got this offer. The real estate agent is saying, hey, we came up with this. We think you're going to like it. That's much more powerful than just, hey, some random stranger sent me this offer. What do you think? Do you want it? No, now it's, hey, we came up with this based off what you told me. And when I talked to this wholesaler, we think this will work for you. Completely different dynamic. And it raises your conversion rate. Does anybody have any questions?
Yes, I remember my question now.
What's up?
So based on that hybrid example that I gave you, I remember when I first got Deal Sniper, and I swear, like, if I were to go into the like Deal Sniper itself, and it says, "Is there a mortgage?" and I could say yes or no. If I said yes, correct me if I'm wrong, it would still kind of bump up the purchase price, like a regular seller finance. But if I do it now, it pretty much keeps it similar to the listing price. And I don't want this to backfire on me. Like, I don't want to lock it in and it doesn't move because it's way above what the seller is actually asking for.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So you put when you put this property in, you put, yes, the property has a mortgage. The prompt came up that said to put in the balance and the monthly payment, and it's still
Mhm.
580,000.
No, that's what I'm saying. It popped up almost close to what they're asking. So like 540 something.
That sounds right. That sounds like the mortgage balance plus the down payment.
So I mean, in that case, I don't think it would actually work. But if I were to bump it up like it would be a seller finance offer, it does work.
What's it listed for? 529?
Yeah.
And Deal Sniper said 580?
No, it says 580 if I say no mortgage.
Right, because it's doing a seller financing offer.
Right. But if I do say there's a mortgage, it said like 547.
547 would be better for the type of deal that you have. Like 550 would be
Okay.
better. It would make 550 would make more sense. Here's what you've got going for you at 580. According to you, the property is immaculate.
Yes.
People will pay more for immaculate. Because people just most of the time are just lazy.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to do it. So if it's already done, I'll pay extra more for that. I don't have to do it. So that's the only thing you have going for you. But if it is a true sub 2 with solar attached to it, 546 is probably better. Plus the 540. Well, no, hold on a second, because we have to add 40 grand for the more. Did you add the 40 grand to the 508 mortgage when you put it into Deal Sniper, when you said, yes, it does have a mortgage?
I didn't. That's
Oh.
why I know it probably won't.
No, then you should be okay, because think about it. 546, right?
Mm-hmm.
Plus solar, that's 40 grand. That's 586.
Oh, so it,
Or 585.
okay, so I can still keep the 5 whatever I had, 580.
Yeah, and if you really want to double check and dial it in, put the deal back into Deal Sniper, and when it says that they have a mortgage, make the mortgage 508 plus 39,000.
Smart. Okay.
And
I
then
will
see what it spits out. And honestly, whichever one it spits out that's lower, go with that one.
Okay.
But you
Thank
can
you.
but you can justify the 580. You can still justify it.
Okay.
All right, cool. Anybody else have any other questions? On the next training, what's up, Darren? You're muted, bro. Or did you press it by accident?
Yeah, it was on accident.
Oh, no worries. On the next training, and I don't mean tomorrow, I mean on Wednesday, I want to do some role playing, because this did not go the way that I want it to go, because my brain doesn't work the way that it does when it's real, when it's not real. I don't have a very good imagination, so I can't fake it. I got to be in a situation. So we're going to do one or two things. I'm going to get one of my closers on here to role play with me so you guys can see what it's like. Or I'll just set up an appointment to call a real estate agent and then have you guys listen. So if I can set that up by Wednesday or whatever day this week that I can get that set up, I'll do that. Now, for those of you who aren't new, obviously my schedule's busy, so I'm going to do my best. For those of you that are new, my schedule's busy, so I'm going to do my best. But I'm going to see if I can get that scheduled. And then on Fridays, what I'd like to do is I'd like for you guys to start recording the phone calls that you have with real estate agents. There's a voice recorder app on the Apple Store and the Play Store that's free. It's red, and it's got some jagged lines in it that look like sound waves. Download that, and you can record your calls, email or DM them to me, and every Friday I'll pick a couple, we'll listen to them together, and I'll tell you guys, hey, next time say this, or here's where you lost them, here's where you got them, say that next time, don't say that, so on and so forth. So we're going to experiment and try that. I tried it once before when Deal Sniper was new, but back then it was exactly the way that I liked it, and nobody knew who I was. But now that I'm asking, I'm hoping people will actually do it, because I think that'll help you guys out. Any questions?
Hey, Sean, I have a quick question.
What's up, dude?
So, this is my officially my third week with Deal Sniper,
Okay.
and I sent out probably like 180 emails thus far, and I know that
Okay.
you and Will, you guys had a recording, and he was saying that he basically kind of reaches out to people, or excuse me, agents, a lot more. And so last week I started calling agents, even the ones that said like, my seller they're not interested in owner finance, yada yada yada. So I was like, all right, cool. Let me start calling these guys and agents, and kind of find out like why, right? And so I would call them, and I was like, all right, yeah, I see, per the email that your sellers are interested, right? I think you said no, you said no, they said like no, and I was like, is it no or is it not right now? I try to hit them with that play that I heard them recording, and their response was like, yeah, they just don't want an offer. And so I didn't really know where to carry the call, and I was like, all right, well, if it's all right, maybe if things don't work out, maybe I can reach out to you in a month and see if things progressed. And I just didn't know where to take it after that. But I was trying to basically, you follow what I'm trying to say? I was trying to like
yeah, you got they hit you with an answer that you didn't have a rebuttal for, and you got lost.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So, but my question is, what specifically, which part did you get lost on? Which part threw you for a screwball where you're like, fuck, I don't know what to say?
I mean, well, I guess after I offered, because like I said, they said no in the email, but I wanted to just kind of see if I can build rapport with them and call them and, let them know like, hey, if you have any other, clients that might be interested in the offer, yada, yada, yada. But as soon as they said like they'll never be interested in this offer, I was like, all right, well, I basically just said, hey, if you have any other clients or if I can follow up with you in maybe a month, and I kind of left it at that, right? I didn't know if there was any other tactics that kind of help, you know, try to engage them to want to, kind of go with the offer, I guess.
So let me ask you this, and be specific because it's going to determine my answer. When you called them back and you said, you called the real estate agent back and you said what exactly?
Something along
the best you can.
Something along the lines of, well, I introduced myself and I was like, yeah, we were in communication a couple days ago, and your seller wasn't interested in the creative finance or the offer. Is it are they not interested at all, or is it a not right now? Like I said, I kind of got that from you and Will, just to see if I can follow up with you later on in case the deal doesn't sell in a couple weeks or a month. And that's pretty much like my objective was to just let them know like, hey, I'm going to stick it out, but is your seller really like on some I don't want to ever have a creative deal, or kind of have the option open and kind of, like I said, build that rapport with them. So that's where I was with them.
Gotcha. Okay. So your approach was fine. You using that line is really good because it'll help to identify what they're dealing with. Now, when they said no, how did they say no? Or they'll never be interested. Sorry.
Basically, yeah, they were like, yeah, my seller would never be interested in this. And I don't know if it was like, I don't know if I believe them really, but it's like I have to take it for face value. It's that if that's what they said, then cool. And so I just kind of accepted it, and I just said, hey, all right, well, if you have any other people that are interested, well, my name is Rick. I would love to work with you in the future, type of thing. Just because I'm getting a lot of no's, so I'm just like, all right, let me try to build rapport with these agents. So in case this client doesn't work, maybe they have another client, and because they're familiar with me, they may reach out to me and say, hey, I remember this guy, Rick, he was cool. Let me see if he has, if he could do a creative offer deal with this seller.
Gotcha. Okay. And based off what I'm hearing, you sound new to wholesaling.
Yeah, I've been doing it. Well, I started with doing the early in the year. I mean, creative finance, like with your program, I'm doing it for last, this is my third week. But
Right.
beginning of the year, I was doing agent outreach, but it was more so like low ball cash offers. And they don't, sellers don't really like that. They're like, all right, my house is 100,000, trying to offer me 30,000, for example. And they're like, no, we want what we want. So I did that for, off and on for like a month or two. And I'm like, all right, kind of gave up hope. And I came across you guys. So I'm like, all right, let me try it this way.
Okay. So new to wholesaling. Like you haven't
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Okay. Here's what I'm picking up. You sound very customer service. You sound very, what's the word I'm looking for? You sound like someone that would say, thank you
Salesy.
so much for taking the call. Does that sound like you?
Yeah, I guess it all depends on the person, but yeah, maybe.
I think the main thing that'll help you is there isn't a lot of confidence is not the right word. There isn't a lot of
Season.
huh? What's up? Oh, I must be tripping. I'm having hallucinations.
I go off of vibes, right? Because I had a real successful call with this one agent last week. Her name was Chrissy. Because in the email, she was like, I could tell she was like really friendly. So I called her and I was like, hey, I know that you're, like I said, a hater with that spill. Like, all right, this client may not work, but hey, I love your energy. I'm sure we could work in the future. Yada yada yada. And so we ended up having a conversation. Like, I was like, where are you from? And she was like, yeah, I'm from Georgia. I'm like, yeah, I'm from Boston originally. And we were like really like kind of shooting the shit for a good 10 minutes. And I built rapport with her, but other agents are like, they're kind of hard and just like, this, why you bother me type of thing. So I gauge it based off your feedback, right? And so it depends on the energy you give me. I try to, give you the same energy, if that makes sense.
It does. It does. I was more just trying to prove a point to see if I can get what I taught earlier to actually work in a real setting. I work a lot better when it's real. So do you guys notice how I made an assumption about him that was incorrect and how quickly and how much information he gave me to correct me?
Oh, that was nice.
I now know where he grew up, the agent's name, where they grew up, the deal that he's working on, how well it went, what he considers a good call. I know all that shit just because I made a wrong assumption. So yeah, it does work. You guys should use it. Anyway, thanks, Ricardo. Yeah, your approach seems to be fine. Your terminology seems to be fine. And if you're telling me that your tone or your vibe is different based off the person you're talking to versus now, then okay, then I'll believe that. Then it sounds like that real estate agent might have just been a little not that chill.
Yeah, and I feel like I get a lot of those agents. So, but
that's
I mean,
okay. That's part of the thing. Here's what I would do to hedge your bet. And obviously you're comfortable being on the phone.
Yes,
I would call the real estate agent, and I'm not suggesting that everyone does this, but on the days where you're feeling a little more pep in your step, I would call the agent first, like before you ever send the offer. I wouldn't introduce myself formally. I wouldn't do that at all. It would be something like this. Hey, Ricardo, this is Sean. Hey, I'm looking at this property on 123 Main Street, and I was thinking about putting in an offer, but the type of offer I'm going to put in isn't traditional. Is your seller open to that, or should I just move on?
Okay.
Because that'll get delivering it like that. One, you don't sound like a wholesaler when you talk like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to talk the way that you talked when I got you to open up a few minutes ago. Like you've talked to me, 5 times in the last 2.5 hours since this call has been started. And not one time did you say one curse word to me. But the moment you started mentally looking at me as just a friend you're shooting the shit with, you sure in the hell said shoot the shit. You let your guard down.
Yeah.
You weren't thinking 100% about what you were saying. You were just letting it flow. So start doing more of that. Start doing it to where, because if you don't sound customer service, then the guard doesn't necessarily go up. People's guard only go up when they're introduced to something that they know is a threat or that they perceive as a threat. And salesmen or salespeople are threats to everyone. Nobody wants to be sold. So when you don't sound like customer service salesy, like super duper duper professional, and you just sound like a regular person, nobody's guard goes up. At least not immediately, unless you trigger it. So I would do it like that. And then if they say, what do you mean by non-traditional? I've had a lot of success this year purchasing properties for my investors that are creative deals. And that's kind of like what we're looking for here. I'm totally okay with giving you asking price. Actually, we're going to add a little bit more on top of that. But I don't want to waste your time and send you an offer that, you guys just flat out aren't interested in. I saw the property's been listed for 90 days, 100 days, 60 days, 45 days, whatever. I saw the property's been listed for a while. I know mine, I've got like 9 investors in that zip code. And I know for a fact that if I can get it for the terms that I'm about to send you, 4 or 5 of them will take it. I just need to figure out which one it's going to be. So are they open to that, or should we just move on?
Okay.
And in that, I literally just told them that I wasn't the end buyer. And when you're not the end buyer, what are you? You're the wholesaler. So I just told them that I'm the wholesaler without telling them just flat out, I'm a wholesaler.
And honestly, Ricardo, that's kind of something that I had to do too. Just an adjustment. And it's more like for excitement. I'm always excited and it comes off like I'm trying to sell something. And I know that I have plenty of sales experience, but we're not selling anything. We're helping them sell something. So yeah, just try to keep your tone like not mono, but just like easygoing. And it helps. And don't say your first and last name like Sean said. Just say, hey, this is such and such, and I was looking at such and such. We're doing such and such and such and such. You know what I mean? So
it should be
keep
super
it
casual.
yeah. Keep it as normal as possible, and it will go well for you.
Okay, got it.
And did you see my post about, it might have been right before you joined, actually. There's a book called The 5 Rings that I suggest most people who want to do this read, because one of the key things to why, and you can ask anyone on my team, one of the best things that you can do in sales, but in sales in general, is you have to truly detach from caring about that assignment fee or the deal as a whole. When someone sends me a deal, Sean, I need help. Yeah, I'm going to jump on the phone and I'm going to do everything I can to close it. I want them to close it. But if I'm being real honest, I don't give a damn about that deal. I don't care. I don't care if I get that assignment fee. I don't care if I close them. I don't care. And it's not because I'm some badass who's got so much that I don't need it. Everybody needs it. I don't care because it's like, if I don't get that one, I'll get the next one. I'm not worried about it. And I truly don't care. And that shit bleeds through the phone. Because when you sound like you don't care, and this is just business as usual, this is just what I do. And I've been doing it for a long time, and I'm real good at it. Either jump on board or get the hell out of my way. I don't care. That's what I sound like, but if you read between the lines when I'm talking. And I don't ever trigger sales resistance, ever, because they never feel like they're being sold. Because honestly, like Amber said, I'm not selling it. I don't sell anyone anything. I give people so much information about how it works, and I deliver it in a way where people feel wrong going against what I say. But I'm not selling them. I'm not convinced. I don't like convincing anyone to do shit. If you don't want to do it, I don't want you to. That's not fun. That's not fun at all. So I'm just going to give you information. You make your own decision. And most of the time, their decision just happens to align with mine. That's how I sell. That's what you have to do.
So that book was called The 5 Rings?
The Book of 5 Rings.
The Book of 5 Rings. Okay. And real quick.
And it's on YouTube. If you want to just read it, you can read it. But I'm 99% sure the whole audiobook's on YouTube. You can just listen to it. You don't have to pay for it.
Nice. Okay. And real quick, last one. So my approach has been just I've been blasting out all these emails without calling anyone. So do you suggest like I kind of scale back from doing that and call the realtor first and kind of gauge, like you just said, kind of see if they'll be open to the offer? Or do I still, because I know you also said like, there's something along the lines of like, if you send out 100 or 20 a day, 100 a week, at least you'll hear back like from 4 or 5 of them. So that's
Correct.
what I'm doing. So
let me ask you this. When you're sending your offers out, do you follow up on all of them?
No. So I just started following up last week.
Okay. So then you can't really count the first 2 weeks because you weren't doing it right.
Okay.
You could have followed up with a couple of them and maybe had a deal under contract by now. I'm not saying it's definite, but unfortunately now you'll never know. The follow-up protocol is you send the email. This is typical. This is not what I told you a few minutes ago. What I told you a few minutes ago, I want you to try that. And I'll get into that in a second. But typically, you send the email out if it's a good deal. You start filling out either your CRM if you've got one, or if you signed up for our Jumpstart program, or you're filling out your tracking sheet. When you get to the part where it says, what did the realtor say? That's when you call the real estate agent. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Hey, Ricardo, I just sent you an email on 123 Main Street, and I sent it to this email address. Did you get it? That's the first follow-up. That's it. Did you get it? Yeah, I got it. I haven't had a chance to take a look at it. No worries. Whenever you get a chance to take a look at it, this is my cell phone number. Give me a call. Have a great rest of your day. Or, no, I didn't get it at all. Check your spam just in case. I literally just had my brother tell me that one of my emails went to his spam, and I've been emailing him for years. Google's weird. Oh, there it is. Awesome. Give me a call if you have any questions. Have a great rest of your day. And whether they call you or not, you're calling them the next day. Because now you should be on a first name basis. Hey, Ricardo, it's Sean again. Just wanted to see if you had a chance to take a look at my offer and see if your sellers would be interested in it, because my buyers are. Yeah, we looked at it. No, we're not interested at this time. Not a problem. I'll tell you what, if you have any other properties or sellers that are, having trouble selling their property, my buyers are ready to go. We just need cash flowing deals. That's all we're looking for. So keep me in mind. Have a great rest of your day. That's how you follow up with a real estate agent.
Nice. All right.
And then you just, ooh, that's going to sound weird. You just touch them like once every week, once every 2 weeks. Just throw them a little touch. Text message. Hey, Ricardo, how's it going, man? Hey, just want to let you know we're probably going to get this property under contract in this zip code in the next couple of days. So my seller's probably going to be looking for a real estate agent to list it for them once they flip it. I'll make sure and shoot them over your information. Can I give them this phone number? You can say that. Okay. And then here's the thing, though. You have to actually do it. You have to recommend, like, once you sell a deal, hey, by the way, here's the real estate agent that I used. He's awesome. His name is Ricardo. Give him a call when you're ready to sell it.
Perfect.
What's up, Amber?
Before you go, so this is the first time that I've been presented this, and I feel like I would just reach out to them. Like, if you weren't here, I wouldn't even ask. I would just do it. And that's probably my answer to my own question, but I want to ask for anybody else. So if there's an agent that says we have to use this title company, I mean, at that point, do I have to lean that way in order for them to move forward? Or, I mean, like, would I reach out to the title company to see if they accept assignments, or would I just take the double close route?
I would reach out to them and just make sure that they do assignments. And here's the thing, you probably won't have to, it's probably never going to be an issue as long as you're telling the real estate agent that you're a wholesaler, because a real estate agent, they know how title and escrow work. And if they've got one in mind, they're probably not going to recommend one that's not going to be okay with a wholesale deal. But to be on the safe side, because I don't trust anyone, yeah, call them. Hey, I've got a deal that I'm getting ready to submit in the next couple of days, but it's a wholesale deal. Do you guys do those? That's it. Very simple.
And she did offer. She did say, are you an agent? Because I can represent you and the seller if that's the case, type thing. So that takes care of that anyway, though, right? Or no?
Exactly.
No. Oh, it
no.
does. Okay.
Well, no, because even if she's going to double represent you guys, that doesn't mean that the title company will magically start being okay with assignments.
Right. Okay.
Cool.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. Anybody else have a question? Perfect. So this recording will be uploaded tomorrow morning by like 8-ish Central Time. Other than that, you guys have a great rest of your night. I will talk to you guys later. See ya.